I'm here with Rod Drury, CEO of Xero, and we're sitting here in New Zealand House. Rod, thank you so much for spending a little bit of time with us. Xero, tell me what Xero does.
So Xero is a global small business accounting platform. We started off in New Zealand. Now we have over 1 million customers in 180 countries around the world. So just been up in London. We had our fifth XeroCon event, our event to accountants and bookkeepers with 2,000 attendees up at Excel. So business is flying up here.
You talk about beautifully written software. Can you explain to me how you got to that?
When we first looked at Xero, we followed small business owners around. At the time, their Windows XP computer, it would take 7 minutes to boot up. They'd then go and put the jug on, come back, and their first business thing would be to go online to their bank to see who paid them overnight, but they wouldn't process the data. So our first big design epiphany was, how do we get those bank transactions loaded directly into Xero, so when you log in the morning to Xero, your bank transactions are there, and then we gamify it. It's like a game of Tetris, and you actually finish doing your books every morning. You get right up to date, and we tell you you're all done. A small business has never been up to date with anything, and what that simple design change means, that the horror of small business trying to get your books ready the night before a VAT return is due kind of goes away. You've got a real-time daily view of the numbers. So design-led thinking drives beautiful experiences.
So that kind of relates to something you also talked about, which is human beings are driven by empathy and purpose, and that there is a duty, in a sense, for business to really look at how we create quality human interactions in everything that we design.
So machines will do compliance better than humans will do, but what small businesses want from those accounting channels is the human nature. It's empathy, purpose, vision, that support. That's what the accounting channel and accountants give in a sort of machine-driven world.
I'm really interested in this idea of craftsmanship. You've also talked about quality, don't you, at Xero, and that's very important to you.
So one of the things that I think distinguishes us at Xero is we write all of our own code. All the code written is by Xero people that share our vision and are empowered to go and do great work. And that delivers magical experiences, and it's so neat. Especially with AI and machine learning, we can surprise people and give them an unexpected experience, which in turn brings delight. And it's fascinating watching what's happening in our industry. Back to your original point, accounting was grey and there wasn't a lot of love in it, but once you deliver these great experiences, the pendulum swings. Especially in the small business sector, you can actually do beautiful business, and it's things like, paying your bills on time, not funding your business based on other small businesses. And with all the data we see, and we see the transactions from large businesses coming in, we can go and lean on large corporates and government departments and say, hey, do you understand that if you don't pay your bills, it has an impact right through the ecosystem? So there's, we've had a lot of success talking about those very human things and just being very clear about the way that business works, and you can do it in a high value way, which creates, it's really paying it forward and creates good behaviour throughout the ecosystem. So we love the idea of beautiful business as well.
The other thing that I'm very interested in is this concept of openness. Xero works as a platform. It's has an open API sort of system. How did you and why did you arrive at openness as kind of like a key business strategy?
Right from day one, as we were building our first sort of user interface features, we also built an API because we knew that it wouldn't be just us building accounting software. Accounting software is at key systems of record, and we wanted to make it easier for other people that are working in vertical industries to connect and leverage the investment we made, because together an ecosystem is always more powerful. And a great example of that is we just launched our Xero HQ Open Practice platform. So rather than say to accountants, we're going to build all of the tools that you need like a traditional vendor would do, what we did was we worked with our best of breed accounting side partners, said could we deliver a seamless experience to our accounting customers across all of our products, so like a single client list, a single staff list, a single activity feed, and if we all understand that blueprint, we're all adding and we get value from all of us working together, and I think that's just been a killer business strategy.
I know you've sort of touched on automation and AI a little bit earlier in our conversation, but tell me a bit more about how Xero is going to embrace artificial intelligence, and how does that actually make for a more efficient a more beautiful way of working?
Yeah, so at the moment, most business software is pretty traditional. You walk up to it, you put some data into a screen, and numbers get crunched, and you might get some reports that come out of the back. Yet we've got these servers now that you're digitally connected to. So what we see is the model moving much more to an event-driven model, where the servers are monitoring what's going on in your business. There'll be calendar events or things happen with data arriving into the system, where we can start doing as much work as we can and just tell you what you need to know. So we're actually into this really golden age of business software where everything has to be rebuilt over the next 5 years. So step one is you've got to get into modern platforms that you can do that work. And when you think of all the business software companies and all the rather dated software that's being used now, it's just such a massive opportunity, and that's pretty exciting.
Should all businesses be beautiful?
Yeah, I think the world now needs businesses to step up. There's a bit of a commentary around business is evil. It's all about profit. It's not. Businesses are here to solve social problems. We need to create job opportunities for more people, and we need to lead by example. And especially as the world goes cross-border and gets more and more global. So, I think it is a time for business leaders to speak out. Business is good, and we, think of internally, our purpose is to create employment through our network of customers and our accounting network. And if we do that, we know we leave the world in a much better place.
So that sounds to me like legacy is very important to you.
Yeah, I think so. When you're a startup entrepreneur, it's about proving your success. And but once you've done a few deals and you're building a business for the long term, not just to be brought, then with the climate of what's going on in the world at the moment, I think it's just super important. And I really saw that. I was fortunate enough to be a New Zealand entrepreneur, so I went up to the World Entrepreneur event in Monaco a few years ago, and every entrepreneur that I met there was all about the opportunities they're creating in their own community, how they're helping with social issues inside their environment as well. So I think really successful business people are very aware of the good that their companies can have, but also the sort of staff that you'll get will be interested in that as well. In fact, they'll want you to do that. So if you can have an organisation with purpose, you're going to get the best talent in the world too.
Rod, thank you very much.
Thank you.